All right, let's go ahead and toss out those boring, traditional vocabulary lists today. In this explainer, we're actually going on a real journey right across London to pick up some practical British English in its natural habitat. Because let's be honest, anchoring these terms to actual, physical locations, it's going to make them stick in your memory so much faster.
So the creator behind our journey today, Jay, literally grabs his coffee, packs his suitcase, and just says, "I'm going back to the UK and you are coming with me." And hey, we're taking him up on it. This isn't just passive learning, you know? You are the co-traveler here. By treating this like your very own personal UK getaway, your brain is going to categorize these new words as essential survival tools, rather than just some abstract concepts.
So the question is, are you ready to travel and learn some English on the go? We are totally trading the stuffy classroom for the incredibly vibrant, busy streets of London to see how the locals actually speak. Seeing these words in context makes them instantly click. So go ahead, grab your virtual suitcase, and let's check out our game plan. Okay, here is the itinerary for the day. We arrive in London Center at 9 a.m., hit up the River Thames for some sightseeing at noon, check out Portobello Road and Notting Hill around 3 p.m., navigate through King's Cross Station at 6, and finally arrive home in York by 9 p.m. It is a packed day, so let's hit our first stop. Starting out on a surprisingly sunny British morning, we actually meet up with Jay's Uncle Lee and immediately hit our very first crucial piece of transit vocabulary, the tube. Look, if you ask for the subway in London, you might just end up eating at a sandwich shop or wandering through a pedestrian tunnel under a busy road. For the underground railway system there, you'll universally hear it called the tube. Let's look at exactly how we navigate this thing. Navigating the station requires some highly practical verbs. You don't just walk through, right? Step 1. You tap your card at the barriers. Step 2. When the train arrives, you board the carriage. And Step 3. As you leave the station, you use the escalator. And, as the loudspeakers will constantly remind you, hold the handrail. These are everyday, functional words you absolutely need to know to get around. Emerging out at the River Thames, we are instantly bombarded with these totally classic sights. You've got a spinning carousel with horses, people grabbing fish and chips, and of course the famous London Eye with its massive glass pods. We even pass a gazebo, a photo booth, and some truly massive seagulls. But hold on, look closely at that famous clock tower for a second. You are actually looking at Elizabeth Tower. Big Ben is technically just the name of the massive bell hanging inside it. Crazy, right? Walking over Westminster Bridge, we spot some iconic vehicles, which brings us to a really vital tip for sounding like a local. While Americans, and honestly much of the world, would look for a taxi, in London, those specific rounded vehicles are black cabs. You are going to hear the word cab used everywhere across the UK. Escaping the super busy Parliament for the peaceful canals near Portobello Road, the scenery completely changes. Watching the wildlife out near the narrowboats, we pick up a highly specific nature term. A male duck is actually called a drake. Need a helpful trick to remember it? Just think of the musical artist, Drake, and it'll lock that word right into your memory for sure. Next up, we stumble upon something uniquely British, an iconic red telephone box that's been completely converted into a money dispenser. Getting cash here gives us the absolute perfect sequence of financial vocab. Step 1, insert your debit card into the slot. Step 2, the screen prompts you to type your PIN. And Step 3, you withdraw your money. In this case, 20 quid. Let's actually zero in on that last word. Quid is the everyday conversational slang term for British pounds. Just like Americans might say bucks instead of dollars, Brits frequently say quid instead of pounds. And here's the kicker. You do not pluralize it with an S. It is simply 20 quid, 50 quid, or 100 quid. It's an absolute must-know slang word if you're over there. And to wrap up our little transaction, how do you actually ask for one of these machines? Well, if you ask a shopkeeper for an ATM, they will definitely understand you. But the natural local way is to ask for a cash machine. It's a UK versus global thing. Nailing these subtle variations, that's exactly what takes your English to the next level.
While wandering down Portobello Road, we're hunting for that famous bookshop from the movie Notting Hill, by the way. A quick snack stop gives us 3 fantastic deli shopping terms. So, you walk down an aisle to browse the food. You might pick up tins instead of cans, and jars of preserves. And when it is finally time to pay, you don't head to the register. Nope, you go to the till. Passing by Greggs, which is arguably the single most famous bakery chain in England, we spot another storefront that requires a quick cultural translation. If you ever need aspirin, vitamins, or just basic toiletries while traveling in the UK, do not ask for a pharmacy or a drugstore. You need to look for a chemist.
Exploring the streets near the Notting Hill Bookshop, which, spoiler alert, we do eventually find, we see rows and rows of these highly photogenic, incredibly colorful homes. These are called terrace houses. It basically just means colorful houses built in a continuous row, sharing sidewalls with their neighbors. It is a defining architectural feature of UK cities.
Okay, time is seriously flying, and we are cutting it a bit late to get home. But a quick detour at King's Cross Station lets us check out the famous Harry Potter Platform 9 3/4 shop. People are grabbing Gryffindor robes, hoodies, mugs for their tea, key rings, and scarves. Oh, and notice that everyone is queuing up. That's the very British term for standing in a line, which, let's be real, is practically a national sport over there.
It is finally time to head home, which means navigating a cross-country train. Step 1, check the departure board to find your train. Step 2, head over and use the ticket machines. Step 3, scan that ticket at the barriers. Step 4, walk down the platform to your carriage. And of course, the most famous British public transport phrase of all time as you step onto the train, always mind the gap between the train and the platform.
After a long train ride, we are finally back home in York. We are definitely jet-lagged, but happily greeted by a seriously tail-wagging dog named Lenny. To describe the end of this incredibly long journey, we wrap up with a beautifully high-level adjective, serene, peaceful, and calm. Literally the exact feeling of finally sinking into your own sofa after a busy day out.
Wow, we have covered a ton of ground today, right? From navigating the tube and spotting black cabs to grabbing some quid for the chemist, you now have the practical toolkit to navigate the UK like an absolute pro. But here's my question for you. Where is your dream destination? And more importantly, instead of just trying to memorize a dictionary before you go, how can you start practically experiencing its language right now? Think about it. See you next time.